Hello, everyone. Here we are live, and it's Thursday afternoon, February 24th. As you know, usually the weekly interviews happen on Thursday, and they happen at this hour. So, thank you for being here. Just a few things. If you are joining us live today, in the comments below, please put hashtag live, or if you're seeing the replay, hashtag replay, and do tell us where you're coming from. As you know, I'm coming in from Mexico, and my guest today is from the USA. We will find out exactly where. And also, if you'd like to comment, the please allow StreamYard to use your name. Otherwise, you will come across as Facebook user, and we will not know who is joining us today. And we'd love to know who is joining us. And that way, you can put your comments in. And if you don't want to comment, if you just want to react, then we love, yeah, I mean, you could do it with the thumb up, but we love the hearts. So send us a lot of hearts. Okay. The usual thing is I usually explain to you, my audience, what my awesome guests and I have in common. First of all, we met online. This second thing that we have in common is that we are knowledge brokers. Now, that's a term that not too many people know about. It's kind of, I say it's a fancy name for an affiliate marketer. The other thing that and we'll talk about what that means in when my guest comes on the screen with us. Also, the other thing we have in common, it seems that we started both our journey the same year, 2019. So we will be talking about that also. Our mentors, we both have similar mentors. Tony Robbins is one of them, Dean Graciosi. And it seems like we're in several groups together online and in a special project together. So without any further ado, I want you to meet my awesome guest. Here is Frank Marco. Hello, Frank.
Hey, Lucy, how's it going?
It's going really well. Tell me and my guests or my audience where you are coming in from. You're in the USA.
I
Where?
I am coming from Pierre, South Dakota.
South Dakota. Were you born there?
No.
Where were you born?
I was born in Napa Valley, California, and I grew up on the Columbia River in the Dalles, Oregon.
Oh, wow. Napa, California. I lived in San Francisco for 35 years. Napa is just such a beautiful country. Now, California, Oregon, how did you end up in South Dakota?
Uh, with my first marriage and our kids, she was actually she's Native American and she was born and raised here.
Okay, so that's how you ended up in South
Yep.
Dakota
And
then.
I stayed here until my kids were all grown up, and then I got remarried and
Mhm.
inherited three more children. So, yeah.
So we have a lot to talk about. So, Frank, let's go back to 2019 because it seems like you and I were both knowledge brokers,
Hmm.
affiliate marketers. We were both in the KBB program. Now, KBB for the audience stands for Knowledge Business Blueprint, which is the legacy, the course that Tony Robbins and Dean Graciosi brought in. And of course, their new legacy was to, they wanted to promote self knowledge or self education is the new norm, if you remember. Now, the KBB was a course, it was the Knowledge Business Blueprint, right? And the course was designed to help people extract their knowledge, their expertise, so that they could share that with other people, right? So that information came to me in an email from Tony and
Mhm.
and Dean. How did you get that information about the KBB program
I actually stumbled across it on Facebook.
on Facebook
Yeah.
like that?
I
And
was
so,
invited into their seminar.
okay, so of course you knew Tony. Did you know Dean at all?
I had been watching Dean for a number of years with the real estate stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So
And some of the books that he had written.
okay, so when they announced this KBB program, you were very, very interested, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And for me as an educator, self-education is the new norm, I thought, people were they were going to Google University, but this has taken it one step further.
Right.
Can you explain to us what it is that Dean and Tony did with the KBB program and how it helped you?
Well, actually, what they realize is the education system's broke, has been
Right,
broke for a long time, and it's still back 20th century. And all you're getting there is general knowledge.
right.
And being a knowledge broker is also about um, self educating and helping other people set up platforms so that they can use the knowledge that they have to share with the world. And it's really, really good stuff. So,
So
and it's
that's
about becoming an expert at something
right.
instead of just general knowledge.
Right. So the whole idea was that people would rather look for the expert who's been through something that they're going through, and they'd rather, have that person coach them or help them get through the same problem, right? In
Right.
other words, people's mess became their message
Right.
in a lot of in a lot of ways.
Right. And also it was to show people that there's a shortcut in
Hmm.
getting there
Right.
by using the experience that you've walked through.
Right.
If you were going down the same path I was, and I hooked up with you and did some coaching with you, um, it would save me years of college and all kinds
Mhm.
of stuff because I can take the same direction you did and get there way quicker.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, how did that start you on your journey? Because you mentioned, but for me, it started me as I'm still with that program. It's
Hmm.
called something else, and I could say I'm still the knowledge broker. I'm still the affiliate marketer. I really market that program. Well, how did it start your journey and what you're doing now?
Actually, what it did was it re-triggered a fire in me. I used to build life insurance companies,
Okay.
and I had helped build a life insurance company here in South Dakota, and we had gotten it up to a $20 million company in just a couple years. And a bigger company got a hold of a lot of stock, came in, did a hostile takeover,
Oh, okay.
and they actually asked me to stay there because I knew all the shareholders, and they trusted me. And I told them to take a flying F because you don't treat people the way they did. Matter of fact, the president of the company, it was his uncle and cousin that came in and took our company and devastated my friend's whole life. He was the president, and yeah, it was. So I got really bitter, and at the same time, I was going through a divorce after 18 years, and became a single parent raising three kids by myself.
Wow.
And after a couple years, I ended up I hit that lonely stage, and I was I just got tired of being by myself. And so I knelt down, said my prayers, and I asked my Heavenly Father, could you please show me my soulmate? 2 days later, I met Dawn, my wife. And 3 months later, I landed in the Philippines and we got married. And she is now here with Hannah. They've been here we've been married since 2014. So, best thing I ever did. Didn't know I had to go to the other side of the world to find my soulmate.
Well, well, congratulations. I'm glad that all that worked out. So, I'd like to talk a little bit about your background because you are a man, you're in several groups. You're an unusual person as far as I'm concerned.
Is
Uh,
that a good thing?
that is a good thing as a male because you're
Yes.
so supportive of women. I see you
Hmm.
very supportive of women. And from what I understand from talking to you, it has to do a lot with your background and how you grew up and your mother's situation. Can you tell us a little bit about that or as much that you want to? I want to know, how does a man like you come to be so supportive of women? Like you are, online.
Years and years of overcoming. But I was raised with a single mother raising three kids by herself.
Hmm.
And my mom had a bad picker when it comes to men. And one year she met one and she picked him, and we went through about 7 years of hell I actually watched this man. They woke me up in the middle of the night. I could hear my mom screaming and yelling for me to help her. And I'm 8 years old.
Wow.
And I was scared of him because he hated me. He didn't like me at all. And I knew he'd kill me. And I watched him pick my mom up and throw her through the kitchen table. And then he went off to the side where I couldn't see him. And when he came back, he had a butcher knife in his hand and he
Oh,
just started hitting my mother with it, cutting her head open, her
gosh.
arms, her legs. And I can still see the blood on the floor, the walls. I can still see the ambulance light coming through the living room. My mom on a gurney
Oh, my.
telling me everything was going to be okay. She survived. She actually was intensive care for 3 weeks and almost died. But yeah, PTSD since I was 8. But so me and my mom, and my brother and sister, we lived through a lot of bad stuff, but
Right.
there was also a lot of good stuff involved in there too. You know, you lack certain things when you don't grow up with a dad,
Right.
but you also gain other things and different perspectives. Because I grew up with the female energy.
Right.
All right. And I'm very much a man's man. I love my male energy, but I understand the power of the female energy and why it's so important. And most men don't understand that if you learn how to accept that, my wife was designed for me specifically to scale. And without her
Mhm.
energy, I can't get to those higher levels. And that's why she's there to help complete me, to help take me to a different level. And it took me years to figure that out. But my mom didn't have a voice back then, Lucy. You would understand this. Most women don't know that when you were growing up, women actually needed a man to co-sign for them to go into business.
Oh, I,
So
yeah.
my mother didn't have a voice. She tried to go into business. She was talented,
Hmm.
smart, creative.
Hmm.
And I always heard men telling her, including my grandpa, it wasn't your place.
Right. Your place is
Okay.
at
And
home with,
your
barefoot.
your place is to raise those kids. Well, she's a single mom raising 3 kids, and the only wage they even allowed women back there was minimum.
Oh, that's
So
right.
she was trying to better that for all of us.
Hmm.
But there was, when I look back in my past, I noticed a shift in my mother. After years of trying to break into the entrepreneur world, she gave up.
Hmm.
And at that time, when that shift happened, she focused all her energy on just me and the kid and my brother and sister.
Hmm.
And I have 5 beautiful daughters and a beautiful wife that actually lived a lot like my mother did and went through the same things. My kids and my daughters and my wife have a voice. And part of my goal and my mission today is to help women get their voice and their message out to the world because it's important and it needs to be heard, especially in today's time with all the healing that needs to take
Right.
place. So that's what I'm basically doing.
Wow. So I see that. Could you tell me, growing up in such a violent home, an abusive home, I mean, how do you just don't become okay with this. You mentioned
Right.
PSTD. Could you tell me what that means?
I
People,
mentioned what?
you mentioned, I think you said PTSD or something.
Yeah, post traumatic stress
Okay,
disorders caused from heavy trauma.
from having.
And
So how
what
does
a
one
lot of
get over
people,
that? Yeah.
it takes years, and it takes understanding the brain, believe it or not. The subconscious mind reacts to emotion, and there's when a heavy trauma thing happens in someone's life, the subconscious mind, believe it or not, just goes straight to it and focuses all its energy on that.
Right.
This is why it takes years for a lot of people with heavy trauma to recover from it. But what happened to me is my mom ended up getting sober. She to deal with her life and her scars and everything, she got into pain medication and alcohol
Right.
and became a full-blown alcoholic. And yeah, it was crazy. I remember her taking me and my brother and sister camping and this is when things started to shift for her, is my brother was still really young, and my mom started getting grumpy. We was camping, we were fishing together, and she wanted to just start over. It was just us three, us four again. And she just kept getting grumpy, and my little brother just looked up at her and said, "Mom, could you like take one of them pills that make you happy?" And it was funny, we laughed, but it hit my mother in a way like, "Oh my God, what have I done?"
You're right.
And then she took and herself to my grandmother's, and she detoxed at my grandma's house so that she didn't take it out on us. But she eventually joined Alcoholics Anonymous
Mhm.
also. And because of, I know we don't have a lot of time, but I'm going to touch this really quick. One of the biggest challenges, and I'm going to try not to get emotional,
Okay.
because I was very loyal to my mother and I loved her, most powerful woman I've ever met. And my wife is like right there with her. But I had a, I didn't realize it, but I had a love hate relationship with my mother because of the violence she put us in.
Right.
And this is what a lot of parents don't understand. You don't do these things by yourself, the kids come with you.
Absolutely.
And inside, I couldn't protect my mom from being hurt that night. And I carried that for years.
Oh,
I
gosh.
wanted to kill this man. And I grew up in shame and guilt because I wasn't man enough to take him on and save my mom.
You were 8 years old.
You were 8 years old, but I didn't know that at 8 years
Yeah.
old. All I know is that's what I was carrying. And
Right.
then I was angry at her because 2 years later she remarried this idiot
Oh no.
and put us back into that. And what ended up finally happened is he kicked me down a flight of stairs and hurt me really bad. And that's when my mom finally left him. Um, but it took me years. I was angry, really angry, and finally, with some friends, with a she was close to my best friend too. Is they kind of tricked me into going to AA.
Hmm.
And when I was 21 years old, I went into AA. I actually suffered from a nervous breakdown at
Hmm.
21. What I found out is you can only suppress feelings for so long. Then after a while, and this is what they explain the nervous breakdown as, it's like filling up a balloon with helium, and you just kept filling it up, and pretty soon it runs out of room and it
Right.
starts to leak all over the place. And then eventually it explodes and you lose complete control of all your emotions. And it was rough. That was a hard time for me. And they had just got me involved in AA at that time. AA saved my life. It gave me a new pair of glasses. It gave me a different way on how to look at the world.
Right.
I believed for a long time, because of my anger, that the world owed me a favor because I had a shitty childhood.
Right.
But AA opened up a different world, and there's a program involved with that. And I use that today to work with other people because it's helped millions of people all over this world
Right.
on on how to look at things totally different, and then how to become accountable for you. So once you stop blaming other people for what happens to you, most people don't understand how important that is. You take back control of your life
Okay.
and you take it away from them. But as long as you keep putting somebody else responsible for your problem, they stay in control over you. And that's one of the things that I have done. I've been coaching for over 30 plus years on my own. And I was a drug and alcohol counselor for a number of years. And I worked with some of the hardest people. But KBB started it again. It relit a fire. I knew I didn't want to go back in the life insurance company, even though the money there is good. I started becoming aware of some other things too, because of the guilt I grew up with and the lack of. I thought in order to be a good dad, I had to give my kids everything. But I was on the road 5 days out of the week. They only saw me on weekends for a number of years, and that damaged them.
Hmm.
And it bothered me. And I spent a lot of time trying to get back that. I have really good relationships with my kids. They're very well adjusted. Um, but KBB clicked that fire. And it's like they were going in a direction I've been wanting to go my whole life.
And now
And
you had something to
in
work
yes,
with. Now
and
you
what
had the
it did
program.
was it hooked me up with Todd Ross, Debbie, Cherise, you,
Hmm.
powerful women all over the world.
Right.
One of the greatest relationships I have just discovered in my life is Shika from India.
Yeah. So, and I do want to talk about Shika.
And
Absolutely.
I'll let you open that up. I'm sorry. Am I
No,
cracking?
no, you're very, very clear. I'm just in awe of that microphone. It's
I
just so,
got this for my podcasting because
I
that is a
want to
big
talk about that
that's
too. Yeah.
okay. And I'm just gonna go in line with what you got to do.
Well, it's so interesting because it changed your life like it changed mine. I mean, the KBB program, because it gave us, we both are passionate about helping people. And
Mm,
it gave us this blueprint to work with
yeah.
because, I mean, we all know, and I know you felt it, that there was something more that you had a bigger purpose than just being a salesperson for, an insurance company.
Hmm.
you know you knew it had to have something to do, and I love the Tony Robbins saying that life is for you, not, it's for you, and it's not through you or something. I think I don't
It's
exactly.
not at you, it's for you.
It's for
Well,
you, right? Meaning
yeah,
that everything up to, that you go through is leading you to really your purpose in
right.
life. And so it's always so amazing. It's easy for us to connect the dots looking back,
Hmm.
but difficult to do that looking forward. And
Right.
so here you are, you're a coach. I consider myself more of a mentor than a coach. So
Oh, you're a coach.
thank you. Okay. So why, you could have done it. You could have been a such an inspiration to some men, because you're not the only man as a young boy that went through
Right.
violence in the home. But no, you chose women to help women. That's where I want to focus on. I want to know, was it your mother's inspiration? You wanting, because you couldn't help your mother, this is this is making up for that, or what?
That's what started it. My mom, when I got involved in the life insurance industry,
Hmm.
lived her dream through me. She
Okay.
even bought stock in the company. She was so proud. All she asked from me before she passed away was, before you leave town, please come have a cup of coffee with me. And when you get home on Friday, just stop by and give me a hug.
Oh, how sweet.
So, yeah. But I'm still evolving. Okay. This is where I'm starting, and I'm going to stay focused on this for now. But Charisse and these other beautiful women, I listen, even though they might not think I listen because of my disabilities and stuff. I've learned to listen on a different level.
Hmm.
And if she sees this, she's going to say, "Oh my God, he did hear me." Charisse, I'm being directed in, and I'm staying open minded because Sheikah and you ladies have been directing me in the direction you need me to go.
Okay.
Well, now it's opening up to more stuff. And I heard Charisse, even though she doesn't think I did, say that I might be the gap that brings men and women together because I understand the female energy and I'm okay with the male energy too. And there's a lot of men that they're not comfortable with it because they don't get it.
They
But when
also
you
don't get it.
understand God on a different level, even like what you said about Tony Robbins, about it, everything here, including this planet, was designed for us.
Hmm.
It was designed to bring us here. It was designed to help us scale to where our Heavenly Father's at.
Hmm.
This is what a father wants for his children. He wants everything. So we're here learning. This body that we received is also part of that plan. And
Absolutely.
there's certain things that you can't learn with the spirit that you need the body to learn. The first time you ate a piece of chocolate, the first time you fell down, skinned your knee, you know. the body can only experience certain things. Now we're having to learn how to align it with the spirit
Yeah.
and not allow it to control us, but us to get it under control. So there's so much involved. I mean, people don't realize your greatness because you come from greatness.
Absolutely. And I understand that your business is called uh,
The live your greatness.
Live Your Greatness, right?
Yes.
Usually you have that in your background. So
Yeah,
uh,
that's my brand.
that's
The Live Your Greatness podcast. I also have the Live Your Greatness group on Facebook,
mm-hmm.
but it's aligned with We Empowered, because we just went to that on Tuesday.
So we
And
empowered the world. So let's talk a
that
little
was
bit about that
powerful.
because you've already mentioned Charist, who is the leader there for this We Empower world that we both belong to. But I think that Tuesday, you were a guest speaker, were you?
Yeah. Before I say that, can I say one shout out to Shika?
Absolutely. Oh yeah. Well, Shika was going to touch.
Okay, then I'll get to it when you do that.
Yeah.
Charisse and Debbie,
Mm-hmm.
Charisse Rodriguez, Debbie Prediger,
Mm-hmm.
united both their programs together. They had their vision has just taken off, and I am so excited about it because this is actually where I have been mentally for the last 2 years,
Okay.
and it's like, oh my God, I finally found a circle that fits me,
Yeah.
and it's about impacting women and even men now,
Okay.
because that's broadened up with Charisse,
Okay.
yeah, throughout the whole world, and uniting forces together to do that. And I mean, how exciting is it? You don't have to do this by yourself.
And we're talking about a new platform too, aren't
And
we?
and it's a movement.
It's a movement.
It's a movement. I just started doing a lot of what do you call that? Organic marketing, and
Right.
I've been bringing in real powerful women into my area because I want to connect them with We Empowered, and I want them all to connect so that we have more women out there that are talented that can help other women bring and their shine out to the world and get their voices out there.
So let's talk about movements because we started with the SCR movement, which is the self-education movement that became a revolution. It's a
Yes.
revolution now. That's what Dean calls it, and Tony calls it. And now we have the We Empower movement,
Right.
giving a new platform and a new venue for women to empower other women
Right.
and you perhaps being the bridge between the women and the men. How what a glorious position that is for you. And it's perfect. I want to talk about another movement. I want to talk about the movement for the moms. Okay,
Oh,
the 100 portraits and the 100 dreams that we're both involved in. Now,
yes.
this is a movement created by Shika Khanna, and we're both in that program or project, I'd rather call it. So tell me, she started with moms, and
Hmm.
all of a sudden, there, there you are, Frank. There, I mean, Frank,
Taking over. Just
I see
kidding.
you everywhere. There's Frank, and all these movements with women, and there's Frank. So how did that happen with Shika?
You know, when you learn to open up
Hmm.
and you learn to keep that connection between you and your higher power open,
Right,
things happen. You get taken to places, and Sheikah is a part of our group. And I started reading and seeing what she was doing with the moms,
right.
and all of a sudden, for 2 weeks, I had this massive feeling inside. You need to talk to her. And during one of our mastermind classes, I at the end of it, I said, Sheikah, I need to ask you something, and I don't know if I'm stepping over boundaries or not, but for 2 weeks this has been bothering me. She said, well, just go ahead and ask.
Right.
And I said, my mother never had a voice. And as soon as I said that, her hands went up like that and said, oh, yes, of course, absolutely. It's like I didn't even have to ask.
She knew. Yeah,
Debbie started crying because she knows my mom's story.
right.
Cerese's eyes started to water up, and I'm watching Cerise go like, "Oh my God, this was meant to happen. This is awesome,"
Hmm.
and everybody in the room. So the response was beautiful,
Right.
and because of Cerise, I mean Sheikah. Well, actually, because of Tony and Dean, Todd, Ross, and Debbie Prediger, and now it's Cerise, and all of you guys led me here so that and then Sheikah, because of her, my
Hmm.
mother's voice is finally going to be heard, and she's going to be in the book. And not only is she going to be in the book, she's going to be what they call the golden page
Oh, how
person.
wonderful. Oh, don't give away any secrets.
I don't Yeah, I guess.
Oh, that's great. But how wonderful is that? It's just so,
Oh,
I mean, God placed you here for a reason. I mean, you're just showing up in all the right places, and you are being guided for sure. But there's
yeah.
part of you, Frank, that understands your female part, you
Mm,
know, and you're very sensitive to it. And I
yeah.
think that it's unusual. I think there are a lot of men like you. I just don't know them, and they're out there, but you just happen to be where we are, and it's just an amazing. To me, it's an amazing phenomenon. Almost, it's a
Yeah.
so anyway. So
You
you
guys are the ones that taught me how to be that way. Even in AA, the women are the ones that taught me that it was okay for men to hug and
exactly
to show emotion other than anger, because that's the
right.
only emotion we were allowed to show when I
Yeah,
was growing up,
and
and that we needed it probably more than the women did because
well,
we didn't have it. And a lot of people, women average 10 years more than we do because they're able to deal with emotion. They place it, they don't stuff it.
right.
So your lifespan is about 10 years longer because of that.
Right. So there's a lot to be said about opening up the heart and letting the
Oh,
emotions. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. Again, what comes to my mind is what Tony says. If you're in your head, you're dead, kind of thing. And so all of these wonderful sayings, and so he's a very emotional guy too, and
Right.
I mean, a great mentor and a great person he's also one who raises women and makes sure that their voices are heard. So okay, so we go from here, Frank. I know that you're a podcaster. That's why
Mhm.
you have that big mic, and uh, and I
And these headphones
and
block
the,
out sound.
and
They
the
eliminate sound.
okay, and but you have a passion now, and your passion is helping women to become better versions of themselves.
Right.
You know,
Live their greatness.
to live their greatness. Now, your avatar, is it all women, or do you have an ideal client when it comes to what it is that you want to do?
My business coach asked me that. I've lived through a lot of things, and until I sit down with you, before I became a good drug and alcohol counselor, I had to become a good intake specialist.
Mhm.
And in order to be an intake specialist, you have to learn how to ask the right questions. You have to dig, and you need to be able to take people deep
Right.
because they won't tell you everything in the beginning. So it's about communication. It's about building a trust system with them, and then figuring out what it is, and what it is that you can do to help
Mhm.
that. If I can help it, I'll help it. If I can't, I am in line with powerful women all over the world that I can direct them to get that help.
Right.
So I have a unlimited force of women out there that I can work with and channel with
Yeah,
to get.
absolutely.
There's 8 billion people on this planet. I'm not going to be able to help them all.
Absolutely. So there is a range of women though that you like to work with, and it seems to be more or less 45 to 65. Would I
Oh,
say?
you know where I got that? I got that off my podcast.
Okay.
And as you, one of my biggest challenges has been the technology because of my age. I didn't grow up with computers, so learning how to figure this stuff out. Well, when I first started my first podcast, it was called Let's Be Frank in Mindset. And Let's Be Frank was a polite way of saying no more bullshit.
Uh-huh.
And so that's why I come
Well,
up with
it's
that.
also a play on your name. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I actually used people in the KBB to pick that,
Okay.
because I put three of them up there and they helped me pick that name. But the listeners that were listening to what I had to say about mindset and stuff
Hmm.
were women of those ages.
Ah,
And I'm looking at that because there's an analyst thing on my podcast that tells me who's listening and all this. And I thought, that I think that's my avatar customer.
obviously they resonate with what you have to say.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, now younger people are starting to come in too. So I must be evolving, because you guys are helping me evolve too. So
So what's next for you? I mean, it seems like you're involved in a lot of projects, at least one project that I'm involved in, the new project with We Empower World
mm,
with Charisse and Debbie. What's next for you? Do you have anything
yeah, I do.
lined up
And
in the
I'm gonna
pipeline, as they
I'm
say?
gonna focus a lot on this community. From the speaking that I did, I have like 5 podcasts I have to get lined up. I
Okay.
had people approach me and said, I would like to be a part of that podcast.
Right.
And so I'm actually gonna dive into the podcasting huge.
Okay.
And I'm also bringing people, hopefully as many women as I can. A lot of them are in touch with some of the same people, and build a community that is just so powerful, and also connected with We Empowered community.
Right.
So so that avenue of helping people just keeps getting bigger and bigger and
Right.
bigger.
Well, as an entrepreneur, and you are an entrepreneur, we know that marketing is really very important. I know that you were a sales coach, and you know that marketing. So how do you propose to market yourself, your podcast, and
Actually, doing a lot of organic marketing, and
can you
learning.
explain to us what that means a little bit? Because that term has been thrown around a lot, and a lot of people go, "What's organic marketing?"
Well,
I mean, I think of going to a
basically, you're
market and
introducing
organic.
Facebook has over what, 3 billion people almost.
It has 3.2 billion
Oh,
users a
it,
month.
it's
I know,
it's
unbelievable.
it's crazy stupid. I mean, but then there's other things that are out there too. But excuse me. What I've learned is that there are groups out there that are affiliated, or they're in line with the same things I'm wanting to do. So I join these groups and I start making comments to them, and start becoming a part of the group, and getting to meet people and stuff like that. And then eventually they start to see what you're doing, and if they're interested, they start showing up to what some of the things you're doing. I've had every week I'm getting people to ask me if they could be a part, or I get friend requests.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or they want to be a part of the group or whatever like that. So it's not about making money off of anybody for me. It's just about um, this mission that we're on right now.
Right.
Okay, if I can get my podcast to where I want, and I get enough viewers coming in, I will be able to start getting sponsors in,
Right.
and that can create a good enough income that will get me out of my job,
Exactly.
so I can do this full time. And then even my courses, because I can keep them lower,
Yeah.
because I don't want to just reach a certain group of people that can afford. I want to reach people that can afford it too.
Right.
And I want to work with as many people as I can. And that is my why, Lucy,
Yeah.
is I am very happy in most areas of my life. I have a beautiful marriage. I have awesome relationship with my children, my friends. I feel real comfortable with my spirituality. Where my why is before I leave here, because I've ran from this for years and years. I knew what I was sent here to do. I've known it for a long time. I
Mhm.
think most of us have, but because of our own fears, we've
Don't listen.
yeah, we don't. And um, and but my why is This is why I know it's my why. I get emotional every time I think about it. When I leave here, I need to know when I face my maker that
Mhm.
I did everything he needed me to do
Right.
while I was here. And it's not about me. It's about all of us. And what I understand is it's like God has this huge puzzle, and each one of us are a piece. We're
Right.
all necessary to complete that puzzle. And
Right.
this, if I could tell anybody out there that's listening right now, and I'm going to get right here so you can hear me. If you think your voice isn't important, I'm going to tell you it is. It's just as important as Tony Robbins, Dean Gross, anybody's.
And
And the reason for that, and this is what I've been blessed with older people my whole life, is everybody internalizes things differently. So not everybody's going to understand or relate to Frank's story, but they're going to understand Lucy's story or Debbie's story or Ceresa's story, Sheikah, Marilyn, all of you. We need all of us to complete this goal that God has going for every single one of us. So,
absolutely.
yeah.
So that is so cool. I mean, thank you for sharing that. And it really touches my heart. I mean, because that is true. It's not about us, the individuals. It's about us collectively. And so and so that's why I love being in touch with like-minded people such as yourself and other people, all those people that you mentioned also. So is there anything, Frank, that I haven't touched upon that you would like our audience to know about you, that is really kind of very important to you for them to
Yeah.
know?
Um, I, I know there's people out there because I was one of them at one time. You have something,
Yeah.
you have a passion. Your passion's probably what you were put here to do anyway.
Right.
You need to learn how to align with that and um, understand that turbulence that's going on in your life right now when you're getting faced with all these things. I'm going to tell a quick little story,
Okay.
okay? And I was going through some stuff, and this old timer, one of my sponsors, said, "How's it going, Frank?" And I said, it's not going too good. This is going on. This is going on. This is going on. He said, "That's great." And I just, okay, maybe you didn't hear what I said. This is going on. This is going on. And this is going on. He said, "That's awesome." And it's like, who in the hell are you talking to? I'm trying to tell you my life is miserable, and you keep hitting me with this great stuff. He said, "Calm down, calm down. Let me explain something to you." He said, "Through my years, what I've learned, Frank, is that when we start coming up on all these challenges and this turbulence, it's because God is preparing you for something
Something
great.
great.
He's just trying to get you ready for it." And when you learn how to open up to that, he said, "Always remember this: problems don't have solutions, only challenges have answers.
Very
Take
nice.
your problem, turn it into a challenge, and find the answer to it." Because what most people haven't been taught is you have the answer for everything.
You
And
do.
I was addressed with that once, and I didn't understand it. And he said, "Do you know somebody that has experienced what you are talking about right now and has got to the other side of that?" I said, "Yeah." "Well, get out of your way and go ask them for help,
Yeah.
and they'll have the answer for you."
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's all it is. So if you're struggling to get your voice heard, create, and I guess this is the most powerful thing I could tell anybody, Lucy: the circle is sacred. In the Native American world where I grew up, they call it the sacred hoop, the Tioshbaye, your extended family. Learn how to create a circle of people that are heading in the direction that you are going, because they will be the ones that help challenge you. They'll be the ones that cheer you on. They'll be the ones that hold you accountable, and they'll be the ones that won't let you quit your dream.
Right.
Yeah.
And one of my challenges with these interviews is to show women, you know, who are over 60, just like me, to let them know that retiring is not, it's refiring yourself, it's
Mm,
repassioning yourself. And in today's world, it's an online business, and anybody can do it if you know the right people.
right.
So that's all you have to do, is find somebody who is doing what you would like to do and follow them, because
Right.
success leaves clues, and
You
so.
just said something that was powerful. And one of the problems my wife had when she came here
Hmm.
was she works at the hospital and they have a place where elderly people live.
Right.
And she's talking to this lady that's in her 80s. And she said, "Well, where are your kids?" And the lady cried and said, "They don't come see me."
Oh.
And Dawn come home crying and she was upset. Why do American people throw their old people away? And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because we never used to here. Old people who retired had a purpose. They
Yeah.
weren't put out in the pasture. I'm sorry. They become educators
Yeah.
to the grandchildren and the
Exactly.
children. And they had a purpose still. And Lucy, if I can tell those women that are over 60, your life is just starting.
Oh, just started. If I
It
can do
is
it, they
just,
can do
you
it.
just cleared the path to finally get to do what you've always wanted to do. Come
Exactly.
hold our hands and let's take you there.
Absolutely. And I want to be the bridge for those ladies, and
Absolutely. And if you ever need help with it, let me know.
absolutely, I know who to come to for sure.
I'm good at building confidence and outsmarting the bully.
Hey, that's great. Okay, so Frank, if anybody wants to get in touch with you, the tickler down here says
Yep.
Frank at liveyourgreatness.biz, right?
Right. Or you can go to Facebook and you can find the Live Your Greatness
.com.
group. It is a closed group, so you get vented before you come in. And we do that just to protect the other people that are in there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You want people, like-minded people, to join
Right.
your group. Okay. Well, thank you, Frank. Thank you for your time. I know how busy you are. Thank you. I can't thank you enough for your time. And I love what you're doing. Just keep showing up, because it just warms my heart to know that you stand for a lot of men out there, and it makes me happy, because I want to be all inclusive. It's not
Well,
just about the
we
female.
need each other.
It's about the human race. It's about human beings, and it's
You know
and
what? What's that they call where is manifesting?
right.
Do you know I actually manifested women into my life when I was 5? I remember a conversation I had with my mother. I saw this little baby girl and I told my mom right there. I still remember it like I was there. I want baby girls when I get married. I got 5 daughters.
Wonderful.
So I
You
thought, holy, when I learned what manifesting was about, I said, I manifested that when I was 5.
you absolutely did. You absolutely did. Well,
Mm,
thank you so very much, Frank, for your time
thank you.
today. And
What you're doing is awesome, Lucy.
thank you, thank you, thank you. And so what you're doing is awesome too. So, and I know that quite a few men that are doing wonderful things, and all I have is thankfulness and gratefulness for
Yeah.
for for you all. So, and I want to thank my audience today for being here. Thank you. I think I see Rich Segura and Wilma. She's a wonderful follower always. And so we'll see you next week. And so, Frank, you have a wonderful week, and we'll. I know I'll see you around.
See you at the mastermind class.
Absolutely.
All right.
Okay. Bye for now.
God bless you.